Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty 360. I hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Loyalty 360 Leaders in Loyalty series. In this series, we talk to leading brands about what they are seeing and hearing on the front lines of customer, channel, and brand loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Katherine LeBlanc. She is the Chief Marketing Officer of Painted with a Twist. Painted with a Twist is the original and also leading paint and sip franchisee with close to 300 studios that are currently open or in development across 39 states. This month, the parent company of Painting with a Twist acquired Color Me Mine, the industry leader in paint your own pottery, and Chesapeake Ceramics, a leading global ceramics supplier, to add value to the brand network and to round out their product offering. Katherine, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Excited to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit more about Painting with a Twist, kind of its operations, and those who may not be familiar with it, kind of what you do and how you do it?
Sure. So Painting with a Twist, as you said in your intro, is a paint and sip, which means that you walk in our doors and we teach you over the course of 2 or 3 hours how to paint a picture that you have pre-selected. But more importantly, we also encourage you to relax, rejuvenate with your favorite beverage, with your girlfriends or your significant other. Have just a let loose great time unleashing that kind of creative side of your brain. So no experience necessary, but our focus is on having fun, not necessarily walking out with a masterpiece, but creating new memories with the people you came with.
Well, I definitely think that's very important in the age and time that we live. Having a little bit of cathartic release is probably good for everyone, correct?
It is. And we were actually founded in a moment of crisis. So our founders, Kathy and Renee, founded us post-Katrina in a post-Katrina New Orleans. And what they found was in their search to kind of open up and run a new business, they had a kind of an entrepreneurial spirit. They found that what was happening in their studio really provided a community service and creating an escape from kind of what was happening in the day-to-day with people recovering from that crisis. And in that, this franchise bloomed. So they had guests coming to their paint and sip experience and then going home and saying, I really want to bring this to my community. We don't have to be in the middle of a Hurricane Katrina level crisis in order to need an escape from the daily grind. And so that's really how the brand blew up. It was an organic kind of growth from customers who experienced the brand, experienced that release that comes from just letting go, putting down your phone and connecting with the person next to you over a glass of wine, but also while unleashing this creative side that isn't the reason you're there. But then when you walk away and say, wait, I did that. It kind of adds to that all of the crazy magic that comes with attending a Painting with a Twist event.
So those who own a franchise, the franchisees, are they actually artists, or do they have to get certified in any level of artistry or painting professional? I guess I can start kind of asking, what do you have to do to own a franchise? Or can you hire someone who fills that role, or how does that work?
Yeah, for sure. So our franchise owners come from all walks of life. We have some high-level company executives that were ready for a break and walked into this franchise business and were attracted to it because of that carefree escape that we deliver. And we do have some art-leaning individuals who have always wanted to kind of explore that creative side in a business that will also make them money. But most of our franchisees, I would say, are operators, and they hire their artists to come in. And, it's really more than just knowing how to blend or create a painting. It's about how do you become the host of the event that you are running and making sure that your guests are feeling at ease and comfortable in what they're doing. So our artists are really artist entertainers. They're great at cracking jokes and making people feel at ease as they're completing their event.
Okay, interesting. So it'd be great to know a little bit more about you, kind of what you do, how you do it, and your role within your organization.
Sure. So I'm Chief Marketing Officer at Twist Brands. And as you mentioned in the intro, we have recently expanded. So in addition to Painting with a Twist, we have Color Me Mine, which is a paint your own pottery studio. And we have Chesapeake Ceramics, which is a ceramic supplier to paint your own pottery studios. So as CMO, I am charged with running our marketing and all of our strategy in regards to marketing. In addition, I am over our IT department, which, for this type of company, for Painting with a Twist specifically, all of our kind of transactions start at our website because you make a reservation before you walk into our doors. And so it's a really unique pairing of e-commerce with a retail brick and mortar. And so I run our IT kind of strategy and roadmap, and that's a perfect kind of balance with marketing. And then on all brands, I also run the new product development, research and development arm.
That's awesome. Well, it's great to hear that kind of the marketing, the IT group runs up the marketing because, as you know, different data sources, integration can be a huge challenge, right? But at the end of the day, the group that impacts most is the marketing, the insight, the analysis, and we're seeing more and more organizations kind of have that structure where kind of IT has at least kind of a tangential role, or they kind of report up through from analytics and insight and what have you. So it's great to hear that you're structured that way.
Yeah, it's been very successful for us. And I've certainly enjoyed ensuring that our marketing strategies and our IT development is married. I think it creates a lot of synergies and helps us go faster.
Interesting. So the two acquisitions, Color Me Mine and Chesapeake Ceramics, how big are they, and kind of what do they add to kind of the Painting with a Twist operations?
So Color Me Mine is another franchise brand. It has 140 locations, and it's a paint your own pottery studio. So it's a bit of a different use occasion than Painting with a Twist. And we felt like it was a really awesome complement to what we're already doing at Painting with a Twist, in that we're reaching, really the same target, but for a different reason. So at Color Me Mine, it's all about family-friendly entertainment. Again, creating those memories, creating that experience where you're walking in to unleash that creative side of your brain, and no experience necessary. But what we're really trying to do is create that escape, create that moment with the people that you love. And so Color Me Mine is a little bit more focused on the family-friendly entertainment activities, whereas Painting with a Twist is really geared towards the adult fun activities. And so we felt like it was a perfect complement to bring these two brands together and create synergies around kind of the leadership structure and around some of the services that we could share as a company, while creating a path for success for our franchisees. With Chesapeake Ceramics, we're opening ourselves up to better control our supply chain. So in a niche market like we are in with Paint and Sip and Paint Your Own Pottery, one of the things that was important to us was to make sure that we're able to source and provide supplies to our franchisees no matter what. I think we've all experienced some supply chain stress over the last couple of months, even down to getting your Amazon package on time. So really kind of adding that to our portfolio enhances our ability to control that supply chain and make sure that our franchisees are set up for success.
Okay. When you look at kind of Chesapeake Ceramics, how many locations does Chesapeake Ceramics have?
So Chesapeake has two warehouses, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast.
Interesting. So my mother used to do ceramics back in the day, and I'm sure it's not the same kind of clientele that you're attracting now. And definitely we have kind of a similar paint by kind of a entity by our office. We haven't been to the office in a while, but it looks to be kind of a very upscale, predominantly, I think, more women night out type opportunities.
Yep.
Who is your target audience?
So our target is women. 25 to 45 is our sweet spot, but we really run the gamut. And 80% of our traffic, 80% of our business is coming from women. We do have success with things like date night, things like corporate team building. Those types of activities are kind of a niche segment for us. So certainly we have a broad appeal. But when we're talking about kind of marketing and where we're putting our resources, it's with women.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the Paint Points reward program, kind of how the program works, some of the features, some of the benefits of the program?
Yeah, for sure. So our Paint Points rewards program is very similar to a lot of the awards programs that you're going to see out there. So you gain a point for every penny spent. And then once you accumulate enough points, you get to use those towards a free event or a free seat at an event. And so, after so many points are received, you kind of work your way up the tier to different discounts on that seat and then eventually a free seat.
Okay, great. How long is the program in existence, and kind of what do you like about the program? What would you maybe like to see different, kind of overall of the program?
Yeah, so the program has been around for about 5 years. It did have a predecessor that was similar based on frequency of visit would then result in discounted or free seats. And what I like about the program is its simplicity. I think that it's this is what you need to get to a free seat. And I think that guests like that. It's also very easy to use. If you log into our website and make your reservation, your points get added automatically. So there's nothing you need to take care of when you actually come to the event, or any check boxes you have to do while you're trying to enjoy the event. So I like the simplicity of it and the ease of use. Some of the things we're looking at is when the kind of points for pennies and these simple kind of rewards programs were popular or are popular, is because of the simplicity. But are we meeting our guests where they are? And is this, are we giving them things that they want to receive? So in the last year, we have really expanded our offerings. And part of the silver linings, I'll say, of the situations that we're finding ourselves in this year with coronavirus is that it really has accelerated the innovation pipeline. And with that, we've introduced a retail component to our studios. So we have the ability for people to purchase a painting kit and take it home to create at their own time. And in addition, we have some retail items that will be available in studio. And so as we look at how we're adding different revenue sources to the studios, increasing that revenue and profitability for our franchisees, how is that impacting our rewards program? And is our rewards program flexible enough to meet our guests where they want to be? Which, from a consumer standpoint, a lot of the ways consumers interact with their rewards program and a lot of the ways that companies have set up their rewards programs is around kind of it's money with that brand. And so is our reward structure flexible enough to really accommodate some of the expansion that we've seen over the last year and a half? So that's something that I definitely want to explore with my team in the next year. At Color Me Mine, they have a program called the VIP program where it's more membership based. You purchase a membership and you're receiving your studio fees for free for the rest of the year. So I think that there's a lot for us as we look at how do we build the efficiencies and learn from the best practices of each brand to really think about how are these loyalty programs working? Are they accomplishing our goals? Do we know what our goals are for the loyalty programs? And is there some learnings that we can take either or to really create a more robust package for guests?
Absolutely. So, quick question with regard to kind of the sipping component. Is it do each of the locations have the kind of a liquor license, or is it where you kind of can come in and bring your own bottle?
The majority of our locations are bring your own. That is how the brand was founded. So I'd say about 70% of our locations are bring your own.
Okay, great. When you look at kind of customer loyalty, we've kind of talked about it a little bit. What does customer loyalty mean to you personally, with your background in kind of marketing, and also, what does it mean to Painting with a Twist?
Well, for us, we are building that loyalty through the experience. As I mentioned, something magic happens when you visit a place where you are interacting with people. Imagine that, seeing people. But then you're also kind of tapping into that escape in your brain, where we're focusing you on a specific task that you have to accomplish that's making you forget about everything else that's going on in the world. And at the end of it, you feel very accomplished. So there's a lot of kind of base emotions that we're tapping into during that experience, both at Painting with a Twist and Color Me Mine. And so in that, that experience and that emotional connection, we are creating some consumer loyalty. especially with, the people that you're interacting with and the artists and the instructors that are guiding you through that process. I think that we need to think about, okay, if we're creating that emotional response to our brand, how are we carrying that through once they leave our studio? And that's where the loyalty program can really be a benefit to that brand awareness and to creating that repeat visit and that long-term kind of consumer brand connection.
Interesting. One of the big things that, with Loyalty 360, we have 125, 130 members now, and partnership opportunities are obviously very, very big with our membership group, whether it's Sephora working with McDonald's or McDonald's working with Food Lion. Do you work with other loyalty programs? Because it would seem to be, it'd be kind of a nice ancillary benefit potentially for, integrating into Wyndham Rewards, right? So there's a Wyndham Hotel across the street, or, if Wyndham wanted some sort of experience reward, because having that alignment is very important for market organizations now. Is that something you guys do or have an interest in doing? I mean, how do you look at partnerships?
We are very interested in partnerships. We think that, if anything, partner marketing, I think, is some of the most efficient ways that you can reach new guests, because if you're aligning with like brands and you're exposing your brand to your core consumer, it's a win-win for both brands. So we definitely love partnerships, sweepstakes or prizing isn't something that we have necessarily done in the past, but definitely it is something that we want to explore as part of our partnership strategy moving forward. From a rewards perspective, I think that the biggest roadblock and challenge that I have with different partnerships with the rewards program is the integration. It's great to get people on board to say, hey, if you go visit these 5 places, you'll get 10% off. But how are you executing that? Or, I was part of a number of different types of initiatives in my career around, bringing value. What you're trying to do is bring value to the guests, and you're getting that value from other companies. And then the companies those companies are getting value by having access to that guest. But it sounds good on paper. In actual kind of execution, I think it often falls flat because the execution is not integrated. And the consumer is not necessarily top of mind to say, oh, that's right. If I stay at the Wyndham, I get a discount at Painting with a Twist. It's just, I struggle with, that from an integration standpoint. I would be curious to see if anybody's had success with it.
It's a big challenge, but it's something that's growing more and more. So, like a Vitamin Shop partnering with, a Sleep Number partnering with Adidas. So alignment with regard to kind of the brands and the customers' kind of interests. And I think you're right. The partnership is a big challenge. Integration is a big challenge, but a lot of partnerships in the past have been kind of a one-way hash, where you have to offer some crazy discount to be part of a telecom or a hotel program or an airline program. And it's more the benefit is for that brand versus your brand too, where there's kind of mutual reciprocity. But it's definitely growing where I think brands are truly looking for, having that great kind of opportunity to have that synergy versus kind of a mass program that you're in a program and you're not standing out. So, that's definitely the direction we see partnerships going, especially with CCPA and GDPR and just all the privacy concerns, and it's a way to truly address that. At least the marketers feel that way.
Yeah, and I think you brought up just a great point around the partnerships that work are the ones where the kind of the person with the people already has that channel and already has set the guest expectation around what they're going to get from that channel on a regular basis. And then the partners that are kind of receiving those guests know how to plug in. And so you've set up like a clear, this is the rewards program you're part of. And as part of that rewards program, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get access to all of these other brands. That works. What I don't think works is when you are creating a rewards program where you're trying to add value with, these random 10% off and ongoing promotions. But I think, the trick is around that short term. Guest expects to receive that short-term benefit and is pushed to redeem it in some way. And so then you're getting the exposure to the guest and then hopefully a sales lift as well.
Absolutely. Customers are obviously changing a great deal. They were changing before COVID. Habits are changing, interests are changing. How do you feel your customers are changing, maybe pre-COVID and going through COVID? What are you seeing? What are they saying? How are their interactions with you different?
So, as I mentioned, that accelerated innovation. So we accelerated a program, or really created a program out of thin air, around this twist at home experience. So painting with a twist at home paint kits being consumed outside of our studios. With that, we wanted to understand, okay, we have this new product. Is it something that should stick around? Is it something where we are attracting new guests? And so we did a couple of really simple email surveys and found that we are attracting new guests with this new product. People are enjoying the painting with a twist at home, and it should be maintained moving forward as an incremental revenue opportunity. And so what we're finding is that we are, as consumers, we're open to some traditionally off-site experiences in our homes, and that I think that there's an opportunity for us to interact with brands more specifically around our brand, our painting with a twist experience, more when you're not kind of beholden to going to that brick and mortar.
Right.
So for us, our consumer, what we have focused our franchisees on is meeting the consumer where they are, and that applies to kind of the fear levels. As based in the Midwest, your fear levels are a little bit different than what we have based in the South and the Northeast, and it depends on the time of year and where those spikes are happening. And so we have to be cognizant of that as franchisors, that we have a whole country to support. And so how do we empower our franchisees to meet their guests where they are in the region that they are? And so that's really what we've been focused on with our franchisees is offer these programs to meet your guests where they are in that moment. And then, what we've heard back is from introverts that maybe didn't want to come to a studio again because it was a little bit outside their comfort zone, but they're really enjoying it at home. Or busy moms who can't find 2 hours in a week to come and relax with their friends, but can find 20 minutes here and there over the course of 2 weeks to really escape and enjoy that painting with a twist experience. So that's some of what we've seen at Painting with a Twist.
Well, it's interesting. There's a big push right now, or marketing automation can be challenging because Iowa could be closed down tomorrow. We've heard that from a lot of brands, non-members. How do you action on that, right? So how do you take the data in? And sometimes the systems haven't been able to accommodate that. And obviously, in your role, you can help kind of facilitate that. But Iowa could close down tomorrow, and you're sending out mass messages, emails to everyone, and well, hold on, the store's closed today, right? So what are some other challenges you face with data and analytics and creating actionability, but also even making it easier for your franchisees because they want to run their stores, right? They want to, one of the value that you bring to them, like other franchisees, is you bring them that support for marketing and the communication pieces so they can effectively run their stores, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And so what we have found, my biggest, takeaway and what I talk to other my peers about often is around data and analytics and how you can use it to empower your system. So sales data, selling in that twisted home experience with sales data is incredibly important, but also guest data. So creating those quick surveys that you can include in an email to your database to really get a pulse of where people are. I think that that was probably our biggest challenges around, as you saw the closures happening and as you see the closures continue to happen, what is the consumer sentiment in those markets? Are they ever going to come back to Painting with a Twist? Are we even on their radar? Can we be on their radar as an entertainment option when there's so much else kind of muddying up the waters? And so, for me, I had a mentor that really taught me how to make the most out of the numbers you had available. Don't fret around what's not available because there's always going to be gaps in analytics. But make the most out of what you do have available. Okay. And every brand has an email list. And so what we did was we sent out those email surveys. We found out, how are you enjoying the Twist at Home program? What should we do to change it? how are you responding to COVID? And more importantly, are you going to come back to Painting with a Twist? Because we need to know how to respond. And so we used all of that to really inform where our resources should go in the midst of a crisis, and empower and comfort our franchisees that our consumers were going to come back, and that we were offering programs that they wanted to participate in. So that's, some of the challenges is just that black hole, but I think that we overcame those by just being scrappy and knowing that it's always the guest first. It's a guest first. Anytime you're working in marketing, it's what is the guest thinking?
Right.
Can I get to them to hear it from them?
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. And I think but a lot of brands really struggle with listening to and understanding their customers. They may hear in a passive way, but to truly have that unique active engagement can be a big challenge for marketers. And it continues to be, especially with more data and not having control of it. And I think to your point, a lot of the technologies out there that are selling AI or neural networks or machine learning, they want to make it as increasingly complex as possible, because the more complex you make it, the more difficult it is for you to manage and measure it, right? Mm-hmm. So you may only need 5, 6, 7 data points, but a lot of people say, oh, you need 1,400, and if you don't have that, you can't do it. And what's that do? It makes it impossible for you to measure. Then next time you go to your CFO and like, I'd like to have a little more money for this, you're like, yeah, no. So,
right.
But it's interesting, and I think to start this off, it's a great pleasure talking to brands like you and what you're doing and what you're seeing, and just to hear the direction of it is great to see. But the last question I have for you, we call our Cmo Challenge Question. And what's the biggest challenge you face as a senior level marketer? Kind of what keeps you up at night, and how are you addressing that? And what is that question?
So for a franchise brand, our job is to ensure the success of our franchisees. So what keeps me up at night is, do my franchisees know everything that's available to them, and have I given them the tools that they need to succeed? And so, I think that I'm very proud of what the team at Painting with a Twist has done over the course of these last few months, and certainly since I've been on board over the last 2 years. But the question is, okay, but did it trickle down? Did our communication strategies that we have in place work to the point where I have coached the franchisees in a way that they can be successful in their business? One of the kind of things that hooks you into the franchising world is the fact that you are supporting small business owners. You are supporting someone, sending their kids to college, or living out their retirement dream. And so, their financial success is beyond a big corporation, is beyond, the bottom line of what you're driving to each day. It's truly changing their lives. And for me, I own a small business as well. I own a restaurant in New Orleans. And so, I can really empathize and put myself in the shoes of the franchisees. And so in that, I think about, hey, did I do enough today to make sure that those franchisees have what they need to succeed? And as your system grows, it becomes, more difficult. You get more and more removed from those front lines. So it's important to stay connected, just like you're staying connected to your guests. For us, one of our first customers is our franchisees. So staying connected to our franchisees and making sure that I'm on top of what they need in order to succeed.
Yeah, it's interesting you put it that way. I mean, that's a huge challenge. A lot of people don't realize that when you have a franchisee, in hotels, in fuel, and so many others, they have to keep those groups loyal too. You need 5, 7, 10-year agreements with them. Someone on the shelf and say, I don't want to go to BP because I don't like how I'm being treated, right? And same thing for large restaurateurs as well. They can flip. Obviously, there's costs associated with that. But so you only have not only to keep your customers loyal, but you have to keep the franchisees loyal as well, and have programs in process that that help them attain their goals. So it's great to hear that focus for sure.
Yep.
Well, I think this was a great interview. Thank you very much for talking to us today. Great to know a little bit more about what you guys do and how you do it, Katherine. And it was great to get to know you, and look forward to hearing more from you in 2021.
Yep. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely.